In 1997, Suu Kyi's husband of 25 years, Michael Harris, was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and he was again denied visa by the Burmese government. There were many appeals from the United States, from the then UN Secretary General Kofi Annan, and even Pope John Paul II, but they all fell on deaf ears. At that time, Suu Kyi was not under house arrest, and the junta, having denied Michael a visa, urged Aung San Suu Kyi to leave the country to attend to her sick husband. Suu Kyi refused the military's kind offer, knowing very well that that would mean exile, as she would never be allowed in again. Suu Kyi recorded a farewell video message for Michael. Then, with great difficulty and stealth, it was smuggled out of Burma, only to reach England 2 days after Michael had passed away. In September 2000, Suu Kyi was placed back under house arrest. She was released after 19 months, but then again put back in. It seemed that the military rulers of Myanmar did not know what to do with her. This routine of in and out continued till 2009, when finally, after years of international diplomatic pressure, the Myanmar government announced that Aung San Suu Kyi might be released soon. The timing was crucial. Burma, now called Myanmar, was facing elections, but the junta had made sure that Suu Kyi was not allowed to run for elections. In October 2010, after 15 years of detention over a period of 21 years, Aung San Suu Kyi was released from house arrest. The world rejoiced. Her son Kim was allowed to visit her after a decade. The National League for Democracy, her party, finally regrouped and rejoined the political process. In 2013, for the first time in 24 years, Aung San Suu Kyi stepped out of the country as she embarked on a tour to meet friends who stood by her. In Delhi, Suu Kyi went to visit her old college.
Sue was always a very determined and tough person, very single-minded in what she wanted to do, and very rigid about her principles, which she would always stand by. There was also a huge inner beauty, and still is. She has a very definite style. She's a very petite, slim person, and she always has flowers, usually orchids, in her hair. And she has an engaging smile. She has a way of using her eyes to convey mischievous meaning to what she's saying. Her words are innocent, but her eyes convey that there are double senses. And that quality remained. And she had an engaging laugh which was there. But obviously the Sue I was meeting 20 years later was a much more serious, dedicated person, because she'd been through so much.
For 2 years, Suu Kyi continued building up her party and drumming up international support for her country to return to the path of democracy. In 2015, her efforts bore fruit as Myanmar saw the first openly contested election in 25 years. Suu Kyi had reached out to her people, and they gave back the biggest mandate Myanmar had ever seen. Suu Kyi's NLD headed for a landslide victory. And although the constitution barred her from leading the government officially, she made it very clear that the power would ultimately rest with her.
If the NLD wins the elections and we form a government, I'm going to be the leader of that government, whether or not I'm the president.
How would you be leader of the government if you weren't president?
Why not? Did you have to be a president in order to lead a country?
This is a role akin to the role Sonia Gandhi played in India when Dr. Manmohan Singh was Prime Minister.
Not quite like that. So you wait and see and hope that we win the elections 100%, so you can find out what I have in mind.
But the important thing is that if you are in a position to form a government, the leader of that government will be Aung San Suu Kyi, regardless of whether she's president or not.
Of course.